Hey, lovely people. You know that saying, the exception proves the rule? It's nonsense, isn't it? Because actually, there's an exception that proves that the rule is bullshit. And I'll give you a few easy examples. Trump says no more wars except in Israel. No more foreign aid except to Israel. Free speech, we're an absolutist. First Amendment protects our rights except with respect to Israel. No foreign interference in domestic politics except by Israel. We are the rules-based order. We respect the rule of law, except when it comes to Israel. We think UN sanctions are a reasonable weapon to keep straying companies and countries in check, except when it comes to Israel and Israeli companies. We prohibit organizations and people and countries from civil society and sports participation when their behavior breaches human rights and the Geneva Convention and other things related to war and conquest, except for Israel. And yes, I am looking at you, International Olympic Committee. I am looking at you, FIFA, who took literally days to ban Russia, to ban South Africa back in the day, to ban North Korea. But when it comes to Israel, crickets. All of these are the exception to the rule. And we've got to ask why. And for a long time now, I've been using the hashtag bribed, blackmailed, or blind. I was trying to make it a thing, but what's behind it is, firstly, bribery. We know that AIPAC and numerous Jewish organizations in Western countries like Labour, Friends of Israel, and I should caveat by saying that there are many fantastic Jewish organizations. I should be clear that I'm talking about Zionist Jewish organizations in favor of Israel and Israel's behavior with respect to the Palestinians, who not only bribe politicians but boast about doing so. Then, of course, there's blackmailed. We could talk for an hour about this, but Epstein is just the tip of a giant iceberg of blackmail and coercion, which is why, despite the sincere promises of Trump, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Bongino, all of these guys to release the Epstein files on day one of their tenure in office, and what do we have? Fuck all. A bullshit binder handed to bullshit influencers containing bullshit redacted over papers we've seen since 2015. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Why? Because Israel is the exception. And Trump and Bondi and Patel and Bongino and everyone else involved in that grift fucking know that. We are never going to see the full content of the Epstein files. And the latest ploy from Bondi is that they need to be checked for national security risks. How the fuck is a convicted pedophile's documentation linked to national security? I wonder why. I wonder why. And of course, the fact that this is just a blind admission that the national security of Israel is what we're talking about here. And the lives and reputations of American politicians, of course, who are all deeply implicated right up to the president in the whole Epstein blackmail program, initiated by Robert Maxwell and perpetuated by his daughter and their stooge, funded by Wexler and the Victoria's Secret magnate. And then the final one is blind, which tends to apply to the general populace because it's impossible for anyone engaged in geopolitics or even local politics to ignore what's going on in Palestine, because the evidence is everywhere. But for ordinary Americans and people in the West still reliant on the legacy commercial media, I guess it's possible to remain blind, to remain captured by the decades of indoctrination, lies and propaganda put out by Hezbollah, by AIPAC, by supporters of Israel, by the media that the Zionists control. So I'm conceding that it is possible that if you rely on CNN, the BBC, Fox, whoever of that panoply of media organizations for your news, then you might still be blind to the exception of Israel. But I'm probably being way too generous. I think silence is complicity, and that most people's reluctance to speak up is based on fear and ignorance, because the repression machine is so widespread across the West that you are literally risking your livelihood by speaking out against Israel and its disgusting behavior with respect to Palestine. And that's before we even mention Lebanon or Syria or Yemen. So yeah, the exception doesn't prove the rule. It proves that the rule is horseshit and the people talking about the rule are full of shit. Fuck Israel. Fuck Zionism. And keep the faith, because from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.